Welcome to our call today, you guys. Happy Monday. Here's a big old hug from me. And I am so excited to spend some time with you today. Oh, I love your hearts. To just pause for a minute and just talk about some stuff that I honestly feel is a game changer. Okay. Sometimes we talk about stuff that feels like, oh, that's a good idea. Or, oh, that's fun. And I'm always just sharing ideas. I hope you know I am not a master at these things. I am in no way perfect at this stuff. I simply love to share the light bulbs that I get. And I love to hear your light bulbs. Like this is a mutually beneficial zone. And I love the energy that we get to create when we come together and we share these things. But this one, my friends, I am changed. I had an experience that changed me. And I feel like some freedom that I haven't felt for a long time. And I want to share it. And I'm so excited. Are you guys excited? Do you guys love the idea of freedom? Dude, how many feel like you've been stuck or bound or just want to bust out? Do you feel that in your heart? You guys, me too. And there's a lot to it. This is not like, this is your magic bullet and your life's going to be amazing. But it is a tool. It's a power tool that I have found that I am so excited to keep practicing and get better at in my life. So as we start, I want to invite you to truly be present. Be here. Be here now. You're here, right? Here you are. Every one of us, it turns out right now, we're on this Zoom call at this moment, and this is all we have. So I want to invite you to let go of any nagging thoughts of the past, any nagging thoughts about this week, what's to come, just anything. Give yourself permission to breathe a little deeper, to feel your body in your chair a little bit more, to pay attention to your own breath even, and just be in your body with us for the next hour. I promise you, slowing down to speed up in my experience has truly brought more peace and alignment and intention to my life than anything else. Slowing down to speed up. So that's what we're going to do for the next hour. If you are tempted to work, dude, I get it. We're in a business where we can work from anywhere, and like a lot of us, some of us aren't. And if you're here and you have no idea what plexus is, you get the warmest welcome, because we're not going to talk about that for the next hour. We're going to talk about humaning, and we can all be on the same page when it comes to humaning, right? So I want to invite you to not do anything else. Just get your paper out, get a pen. We're going to be journaling. We're going to be writing. We're going to do some exercises. And my intention is that when you are done with this call, that you have some stuff on paper that's your own intuition talking. You might hear things that I say and be like, I just want to write that down. Okay, but really I want you to be listening for what your intuition is telling you. Because you might get something from something that I say that I didn't even say. Are you with me? So the goal is I want you to capture some things on paper that's you coaching you, or a light bulb moment, as I call it, when you have a moment of clarity where you're like, oh, whoa, the lights just turned on and I see it so different. If you have one of those light bulb moments, what I love to do, and you'll see it in my journals, like from the beginning of time, light bulbs. If I'll write things, and then sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, that is clarity. That is for me. So if you have those light bulb moments, draw a little light bulb. And then after our call, I want you to go back through and just take a look at what you captured from you. Because I truly believe you have your own answers, and your creator also has answers that he wants to share with you. Or if you believe in the universe and energy, I believe that when you're in alignment with that and you're open to that, you can get answers. That's my belief. Okay. So I want you to capture that as we're talking and as we're sharing this time. And if you're doing something else, you're not going to get as much out of this. And it's kind of like the myth of multitasking. You think you're getting more done. You're actually just spread thin, and you're not present, and you're not creating joy, because you know joy is only in the moment. Did you guys know that? Joy is only now. I love to take pictures so I can have joy about the past, but I'm experiencing the joy in the now. Are you with me? So it's all about being present. So I want to invite you to be present. Take some deep breaths and just be here with us. Okay. All right. This is going to be really vulnerable for me, but I have committed and decided that I'm going to share vulnerably for the betterment of anyone within the sound of my voice or my face that can use it. So that's that. Many of you might know, maybe you don't. I am right in the middle. I'm not in the end by any means. I'm not at the beginning. I'm about a year and a half into like the biggest life changes I've ever experienced in my life. Okay. So this is coming from a place of, I'm a single mom and I didn't expect that to be the case. I am a warrior for marriage and I have been forever. And I still am, honestly. So I'm in a place right now that is so disorienting to me, to be in this place and assuming an identity that I don't get. I don't understand how to be a single mom. I don't get it. I've never done that before. There's a lot of things wrapped up in that I am processing. I have had a broken heart like I've never experienced before. So I'm processing a lot at this moment, a lot. All while, like, logistically, I'm closing on a home. I'm so excited. That's being built for me and my dollies. Like next week, this week, and then going out of town, gonna move when we get back. The bottom line, I'm sharing that with you. For anyone that doesn't know me and has no idea what I'm going through, I don't want to assume that you do. That's where I'm coming from with all of this, is that lens of just a lot of life change, a lot of identity shifts, mechanically dealing with a lot of change in my life. And honestly, you guys, I know that we have different flavors of pain and different flavors of overwhelm, but it's the same. Okay, so what I'm sharing with you is my flavor, but I know enough to know that every one of you in that beautiful heart of yours has some sort of pain. And it's not about yours is worse or better. I just want to connect with you on that level and let you know I hear you, I see you. We're connected in that way. So even if the flavor of your pain is different than mine, I just want you to know we're in it together, okay? But just a little bit of context of what I'm dealing with. Okay, so the 4th of July weekend was awesome. And also, I was hit with a wave of emotion. How many of you know what a wave of emotion feels like? When you're like, just do, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, like in the ocean when you're like, let's just go wade, it's gonna be so fun. And you're like, do. And then all of a sudden a wave hits you and you're like, oh my gosh. And you're like, there's sand in your eyebrows and you're like laying in the sand and it's like hitting you. And you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know what I signed up for. Can you guys relate to that in life ever? Like you're just an unsuspecting victim of this wave, right? Okay, so I got a wave on the 4th of July weekend. I woke up to a reality where I realized I get to be 50% with my kids and 50% not with my kids. I have been 100% a mom for 17 years, and I'm still 100% a mom. But my reality in that moment was I am literally getting half of my kids' childhood. It is short as it is. Are we right? Their childhood is short as it is. And now I realized I was only going to get half. Okay. The level of heartbreak and like it felt like a cannonball to my chest was overwhelming. Just realizing that reality. Are you with me? I cried it out. I talked to a couple close friends. I felt it. And I gave myself compassion. Of course you're feeling that, right? But guess what, you guys? This cool thing happened when all of a sudden I was like, okay, I've cried it out. My eyes are swollen. I'm kind of got a headache. Can I not cry anymore for a minute? You guys know what I mean? I got to the point where I was like, all right, pull my sleeves up. And I'm like, what's going on here? I'm ready to take a look because that's pain. And some of it has to happen. But I know some of that is inflicted by my choice, right? Some of that is something that is underneath the surface. It's an unconscious, either a thought or a belief or something that's causing me pain. And I want to minimize the pain. We have choice. Do you know that? You and I, we each have this beautiful gift called choice. And I was like, I want to exercise my choice for the best things. Not perfectly, but I would love it if I could minimize my pain by utilizing choice. Do you know what I mean by that? Okay, so here's what I wrote. I realized one of my really dear, close, well, my best friend, Matt Gerlach, who's precious and awesome, we have these talks when these things happen, and we just are open and honest and vulnerable about healing. He's healing from a lot. I'm healing from a lot. And it's this beautiful space where I can just be and share what comes up without filtering it. Do you guys have a friend like that? My friends, maybe that's step one. Make sure you have a friend like that, at least maybe a couple that you can be like, a wave just hit me. Can we just like purge this and figure out what's going on, right? That's what I was doing. And it came to my awareness that I still had things to accept. When I first heard that, I was kind of offended. I was like, what do you mean? I'm not accepting. I don't get it, right? But as I kind of marinated on that, I started to realize that's exactly what was going on. You guys, here we go. So here's what I wrote in my journal. And this wasn't meant to be like a poem, but it kind of sounds like that. And it just is what it is. It just spewed out. This is me realizing that I had things to accept. Are you ready? I accept the facts and surrender my illusions that I have the power to alter the reality of what is. I surrender the illusion that I have any power to change other people's choices and their results. They simply just are. I accept my reality, my now. The past is gone, it's disappeared. The future is untouchable, and my now is truly the entirety of all I possess. I cherish it, lovingly hold space to be in it. I release any grips on what has disappeared, the past, and what is untouchable, the future. And simply embrace what's here. What is real, what is now, what is. Breathing it in, all I love, breathing it out, the rest. As all I love fills my lungs and permeates all that's me, every cell, every bit. I am filled with love of all that is now, and I am free. Okay, you guys. So from this, I was like, oh, there's some work to do, and I'm so excited. If you don't have a journal, and if you don't journal, I want to invite you to journal. What followed was something really cool that we're going to do together, and you get to do. But first, can you feel where we're going with this? Facts, feelings, and freedom. Okay, there is a difference, but sometimes I think we don't know there's a difference. Literally, here's what I wrote. I realized in this download, in this breakthrough, that I had a well-meaning but misguided interpretation of owning my power by a recovering, codependent, driven woman who loves big. Okay, so basically, I was not realizing that yes, you have the power to cause change. You guys know I'm all about that, right? But actually, there are things that are unchangeable. There are things that right now just are. They're facts. And I realized that I was banging my head on a brick wall trying to think that I could change facts that just are. How many of you can relate with what I'm sharing right now? Legs. Okay. If you are a driven woman or man, you might struggle with this. If you are a recovering people pleaser, you might struggle with this. If you are someone who loves personal development, you might struggle with this misinterpretation of a well-meaning sentiment. Yes, you are powerful. Yes, you are a conscious creator, but there are facts that are out of your control. And realizing and clarifying what those are is freeing and accepting. The word is accepting the facts for what they are. Okay? So I was sitting down with my kids sharing this, and we were sitting at the table, and they're so excited to hear it all. I'm like, hey, eyes up, listen to me just for a minute. And they're like, when are we going to be done, Mom? But I really wanted to share this concept because I can see them struggling with acceptance of our new reality too. And of course it's a process. This is not just and it's done, right? But I shared with them, we're sitting at the table, and I was like, guys, what would you say if I was like, this table right here, I'm going to make it into a chair. And they're like, what? But really think about it. Pound on a table. This is a table. It's a table. It's a table. It's a table. But can you will it into a chair? Can you? No. What if you bang your head on it? No, I really want this to be a chair. It's just got to be a chair, chair, chair. What are we going to end up with? A headache? Sore fists? Right? But does it change that it's a table? It doesn't change it. The facts are the facts. It doesn't matter how much we don't like it. It doesn't matter how much it wasn't the way it was supposed to go. They're simply facts. They just are, right? And the sooner we can accept that, I'm not saying embrace, we're not there yet, right? Just sitting next to it and not wanting to beat it up. Are you with me? Like coexisting with facts in your life, coexisting with the way it is, being with it. Okay, it is what it is. Not, it isn't what it is. I'm going to change what it is. How many of you have done that before, thinking you can change what is? I'm not saying not being a powerful creator. Do you know the difference? This is a starting point. These are the framework. It's the bones in the body. They are there. They are solid. They are decided. They are definite, right? Okay. So the bottom line is, what is facts? Like, okay, cool, Christy, that's awesome. I don't get it. What we're going to do is I want right now for every one of you to get a paper and pen, get a clean piece of paper, and we're going to take you inventory. Are you ready? Okay, but you can't overthink this. You can't white knuckle it. You can't think, oh, I'm going to do this perfectly. Like, just be with it. I want you to, this is what I did, you guys. I spent like literally an hour and a half taking you inventory of my life. Because right now there are things in your life that are fact. There are things that are feelings. And we're going to clarify so that you can have acceptance of the part you can't change. You know that serenity prayer is letting go of things that you can't control, right? What is it? The serenity prayer is, that would be really beautiful if I said it just so eloquently right now, right? It's accepting the things you cannot change and the wisdom to know the difference. What's the other part? Whatever, embracing, whatever, you know what I mean. But the bottom line is, sometimes we need clarity. Well, what is the things I can't change? Because if you're a driven woman, and if you are a recovering people pleaser, and if you're a recovering perfectionist, you're not going to have much differentiate. You're going to be like, I can change it all. And what does that lead to? If you're trying to change a table into a chair, what does that lead to? Headaches, being exhausted, hating your life, cursing tables and cursing chairs and windows for that matter, right? Being angry at the table that it won't turn into a chair, burnout, failure, disappointment, right? But if you're a driven woman and you love big, you might fall into the same trap of not knowing what's a fact and what's the feels, what you have control over and what you simply don't. So the process of accepting that is going to free you, okay? All right, so this is something that came up for me. My greatest, we're gonna do this in a minute, just wait, but this is kind of building up to this. And I want you to see if you can relate with this. My greatest heartache hasn't come from events, but from the battle that raged between me and me, my white knuckling what is, to attempt to change it into what it's supposed to be. Can you relate with that? Do you like that feeling? Can you feel it in your body right now? It actually makes me feel like I want to burst out of my skin. Just this like, oh, right? Do you guys like that feeling? Well, how do you want to feel? Ask yourself and write it down. Honestly, in your heart of hearts, circumstances aside, you have all the money in the world or no money, or you have the perfect relationship or not, that's not what this is about. In your beautiful heart, how do you want to feel? I want to feel peaceful. I want to feel aligned. I want to feel excited. Not all the time. It's not realistic, right? That's not the human experience. But how do you want to feel? I want to feel purpose driven. I want to feel energized to show up in my purpose. That's going to require some of this stuff. That's going to require acceptance of certain things, right? When I was a little Dolly, I was 9 years old and my brother unexpectedly passed away. He was my best friend on the earth. He was 12. I was a sidekick. We were best friends. He would talk for me. He was my protector. He was my safe place. He was hilarious. He made me laugh my head off and he also teased me, right? But he was 12 and he passed away from an asthma-induced cardiac arrest. It rocked my ever-living world and broke my heart into a million pieces. And I decided a lot of things as a 9-year-old that I still am kind of untangling. I decided things. Kids are awesome at observing things and not awesome at perceiving things and how it relates to them. So I did all these weird things and I made decisions about my role in life, about all these things, right? That was really traumatizing. Guess what? I didn't go to school for 3 months after he died because if I did go to school, that meant that I thought it was okay that he was not there anymore. I literally started this pattern from a very young age. If I go to school, that means I'm accepting that he's not here. And I'm saying it's okay. You guys, it felt so real to me. But did my resistance bring my precious brother back to life? Yes or no? Did me not accepting the fact, did that bring him back to life? Based on results, he still isn't in the flesh. So all that white knuckling, all that resisting, all that not accepting wore me out, made me feel sad and depressed and exhausted, and it didn't move the needle in any way. And I'm not saying it takes time. This is not just an overnight fix, but it kept me stuck, sad, churning. It drained my energy and it held me back. So ask yourself, just really quick, and then we're going to get into this inventory and you're going to blow your own mind. Is there something right now in your world, don't overthink it, that you are not accepting that's causing you pain? It could be someone else's choice that's affecting you. It could be a circumstance that you don't have control over. It could be even just a fact about your health. Not saying that you don't have power to cause a change, but it could be phrased like, I am challenged with Hashimoto's, for example, for me with my health. It doesn't say that I'm not empowered to cause change. The fact is, it's a challenge for me. It's an opportunity for me. Is there something in your heart and in your world that you are resisting that's a fact that's exhausting you? Maybe it's your business. The fact is, I'm putting in the work and the results aren't there yet. Is that disempowering? No, it's just a fact. You're putting in the work. The results aren't there yet. It's a fact. Are you resisting that fact? Are you trying to make it what do you think it's supposed to be? Is that feeling good? Is that empowering to you? Is that bringing you energy? Did you write something down? I want this to apply to you. Okay? So just write that down and come back to that, because you wrote that down for a reason. That's your intuition going, hey girl. And here's another thing. If you have strong emotions about something right now, so facts, feelings, freedom, they're connected. If you have strong feels about something right now, like this, or like, oh, I just want to burst, right? If you have some strong feels in any way, it could be strong sadness, it could be strong anger, it could just be frustration. Take a look. Where's that coming from? Because it could be rooted in something that you don't have control over, that you have not accepted. It could be rooted in something that's a fact that you think you can change. Take a look. If you're open to share in the comments, I would love if we can share together. If not, it's personal. I understand. That's okay. But I'm telling you, here's where this gets fun. Okay. We're going to start with that clean piece of paper that you have. I want you to write fact. Facts with an S. Underline it at the top. We're going to start with the most simple, obvious facts about you. Okay? Mine says, I am Christy. I am 40 years old. I don't know if I've accepted that. What? In parentheses, I need to put 15. That's hilarious. Okay, I am Christy. I am 40 years old. I am a woman. Those are clear. I mean, sometimes they're not clear in some ways to some people. To me, it's clear I'm a woman. It's clear I'm 40 years old. It's clear I'm Christy. I believe I'm a creation of God. I'm 5'5". I'm about 130 pounds, 128, 132, between there, right? That's, wow, I just said that. Okay. It's a fact, right? Whatever. It just talks about me. I have 4 healthy, beautiful, hilarious kids. I have a healthy, beautiful body. Whatever. And it goes on to explain like my nervous system. This is what it's been through. It's a fact. Okay, so I want you to start just naming off the facts about you. I live in Lehi, Utah. I live in a townhome. I'm currently renting. Whatever. Like, I want you writing the facts about you. Start writing starting from the obvious, and just let your brain and your heart just dump about all the facts. You'll know if it's a fact. If it's not, it's irrefutable. It just is. Does that make sense? I can't say, no, I think I'm 43. Like, no, I just am 40. It just is. I can't say, no, I live in the Bahamas. No, I live in Lehi, Utah. It's a fact, right? So just start naming all the facts. What do you do for work? What's the shape of your body? One of the things I wrote here was I have nursed 4 children. I have spent over 4 years of my life with my breasts filling up with milk and then being let down with milk, filling up, letting down, filling up. The fact is, it shows. It's a fact. I can't, no, I didn't nurse 4 babies. No, whatever. So, but I'll tell you, that's an example for a reason. I have spent a lot of energy and time battling, not accepting this fact. But they used to be so perky and beautiful. And now what? Right? They look like socks with raisins. It's a fact. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? It just is here. So I want you to list, be writing about the facts about your life. What's your financial situation? It's not damning. Don't write this in a way that's like damning or disempowering. It simply is. Right? What's your housing situation? What's your car? I drive a Jeep. Yay. And then a bus called a Yukon XL sometimes. 2% of my life. So why don't I just sell it? Okay. So as you write and you start with the obvious, what you're going to notice is some cool stuff starts coming up. For me personally, the story, the chain of events of what happened over the last year and a half that caused, me to be a single mom, the chain of events, I just wrote it out like a fact. This is what happened. This is the timeline. This is what I did. This is what he did. This is what we did. It just is facts, right? You're retelling it from like a scientific perspective. And then, right, you just write these things out. And as you're doing it, it starts to set you free a little bit just because you're like, oh, okay, that's what happened. It's over. Remember how I said it disappeared? It's not here anymore, but that's what happened. Am I accepting it, or am I still resisting what is from then? Okay. Also, what you're going to notice, this is the cool part. Are you guys writing? Please keep writing. Leave like 4 pages. If you're like, okay, I want to write, but I want to come back to this, leave some space. Because this can be really, really beautiful and empowering. One thing that came up for me is when I started to get, let's see, 1, 2, 3 pages into this, it started to turn into truth about just me. Truth about what I love, truth about my gifts, truth about my purpose. You guys, here's what happens. What happens is you name these facts, the irrefutable, scientific, just this is, you start naming that. Your intuition is like, wait, what's going on here? She's talking about truth. And your intuition starts to wake up and speak up. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is where it gets fun. You start to be like, dude, you know what? I love live music and concerts. I love beautiful, simple thoughts and poetry. I love jewel tone colors, clean lines, cement and wood together. Yeah, I just love it. It just is, right? Instead of, well, I think I like that style, but maybe I like this. And that girl, she likes this. And the comparison, you're like, no, this is just my truth, right? This stuff starts to come up as you start to name the facts, right? So the bottom line is then it got into like, well, this is my spirit. I'm sassy and sweet. I'm loving and boundaried up. I love people, and I also love alone time. I love Snoop Dogg, and I love Shania. I love Garth Brooks, and I like the G thing, baby. I like Frank Sinatra, and whatever. I love black and white and contrast. I'm a mom and a business owner. I'm soft and firm. I love fabric and all the different fabric and textures of emotions. I'm kind and independent, and I also love to share, and I love to take care of myself. So can you see how this is just an example, but it starts with the facts, and all along I'm just saying this is what it is. And it's like this embracing happens, this acceptance is happening as you're listing it out. And then it turns into, well, dude, your intuition is like, well, if we're going to go there, let's go there. This is your truth. And you get to hear you talking about you. And there's this beautiful acceptance that happens where you're like, dude, this is me. This is what I love. This is my truth. So from this space, can you imagine how your day-to-day life might be a little bit better as you're accepting the facts, as you're listing and getting clear on your truth and what comes up for you and your intuition? What happens when there's a girl on social media that is the Karen that's like so perfect and you're like, nah, nah, nah. Is it going to be tempting to compare? Yeah, it always will be tempting. But when you are clear on your truth, on the facts, and you've accepted it, and you're clear on your truth, the temptation to compare is going to kind of be a non-thing. Because you're like, that's cool. That's her. That's her truth. That's her facts. She's accepted that. And this is my truth and my facts. And I've accepted that. And I'm clear on it. Instead of, well, what if I just only had her body? You guys, I used to think that I could like copy and paste different people's good features to be my body. Like that sounds crazy, but I'd be like, ooh, I want her butt and I want her boobs and I love her legs and wow, her feet. I'm just going to Mod Podge this body together. That's the perfect body. That's the one I want. I mean, what? That all happened unconsciously, of course. But how many of you have done that before? You're not in the acceptance of your truth, of the facts about your life. You are not clear on them, so you are not accepting them, so you are bonded. You are bound. Does that make sense? Because you're in the muddy water of, well, maybe I can change it. Maybe I can't. I don't know. Maybe I can change what happened. Maybe I can change, right? So this brings some structure so that you can own and embrace and accept the facts and get clear on what it is that's your truth. Okay, so when you accept, it doesn't mean that you agree. It doesn't mean that you are totally healed. It's zero meaning about you or another person. It simply means you're tolerating, you're being with, you're coexisting and sitting next to facts, and you're withdrawing the losing battle of resisting. Okay? Think about Hulk. You're sitting next to Hulk. Dude, Hulk can kill anyone or anything. And you're like, whatever, I'm gonna get him, right? Resisting the facts. And he's like this, and he's got your forehead right here, and you're just swinging. You're like, I can change the facts. And he's like, uh-huh. Go, okay, you can't, right? But think about that. Accepting just means you simply are sitting with what is, and you're just owning it, okay? Okay, so here's another thing we're gonna, well, who has a takeaway? We're gonna move on to one more subject before we close, but I wanna hear from someone. What are you taking away? What are your light bulb moments? What's coming up? I wanna hear from someone. Anyone? Someone's feeling something. I wanna hear it. I can feel the energy because I'm sweating in my hoodie. Let's see. My unique characteristics matter. Heck yes. And when you have that clarity, you can own it and you can accept it and embrace it, right? Okay, Chantel said, loving myself for God, who God created me to be. Yes. Isn't it interesting how something that seems like you're just accepting what is turns into, oh, these are my gifts. This is my truth. And you can own that and accept that too, right? Okay, so let's take this into a different exercise, okay? What about in relationships? How will this show up in relationships? Someone really wise once shared, when you marry someone or just in a relationship with someone, they are going to have 5 things that they do, 5 things about them that drive you absolutely crazy. 5. That's a lot. They don't just slightly annoy you, they drive you nuts. Like you want to just, when they do it, right? Can you think of the 5? You guys are like, oh, there's more than 5. Okay, but here's how we can apply this there, because acceptance of facts equals freedom. Ask yourself, do I want to be free or do I want to be frustrated? What do I want in this relationship? Ask yourself specifically in either a spouse relationship or a business partner relationship or your kids or someone in your life. It can be all of them. Do you want to be free and peaceful or frustrated and exhausted? It's the same concept. Those 5 things that drive you absolutely crazy about this person are never going to change. They're never going to change. And they are entitled to their 5 things. This was someone that said the secret to a happy marriage is, or a happy relationship, whatever that looks like. That person gets to have 5 things that drive you nuts that you never talk about. You don't try to change it, right? And I'm not talking about the big stuff. I'm not talking, you know what I'm talking about, the petty stuff that drives you nuts. Not like you're not communicating with me or, that's not what I'm talking about. But those 5 things that drive you crazy, that are non-big important things, they are never going to change. Maybe they toot all the time. Maybe they burp all the time. Maybe they load the dishwasher wrong. Maybe they leave their clothes all over the floor. Maybe they splatter toothpaste all over the mirror. Maybe they don't put the toilet seat down. Maybe they, whatever, like, maybe they don't like the same thing. Maybe they're obsessed with politics and you couldn't care less and they just talk about it all the time. Right? The bottom line is those 5 things are off limits to you. They are facts. When you consider that they get to have those and you don't get to try to change it, just picture, maybe write things down right now in a place that they won't find it. Can you imagine? They're like, what was that call about? Trying to like name your spouse's weaknesses. Oh, that's hilarious. But think about it. Write a couple things down in code that you'll understand that are just the untouchables. You just don't get to talk about it. You don't get to try to change them. You don't get to passive aggressively drop hints about it. You just don't, it's off limits. And you accept it. And you just go, you know what? I married an imperfect human just like me. These 5 things are just off limits. I'm just going to accept that they're facts. And I chose it because I chose the person. Right? How do you think it would feel to be on the receiving end of this? I'm going to ask that again. I want you to take a breath. Energetically, how would it feel if you were on the other end of this? Would it feel peaceful? How about like empowering? Unconditional love? Because guess what? What I know in my experience, accepting, I have chills head to toe, accepting the facts and working toward embracing them is the first step to change. What? Is that the most ironic thing you've ever heard? The first step to making a change that's lasting and sustainable is embracing what is? Huh? Isn't that crazy? But I can tell you, this applies in every way. With my body specifically, you guys, I made a choice 2 years ago. I was creating a vision, and I'm very visual, for the next 6 months. And I was like, what do I want my health and fitness to look like? I am sick and tired of only doing this when I want results, or I'm sick and tired of beating my body up when I work out. I want this to come from a place of love. I love my body, so I work out. Not, I want to change this about it, so I work out, right? And I visualized, we were going on our Emerald Extravaganza in September, and this was a few months before that. I think it was January. And I was like, how do I want to feel about my health and fitness and my self-care and loving my body in September? And at the time, you guys, I was trying to get pregnant. And that threw a wrench. I was like, okay, but why do I have a goal if I'm going to maybe throw a wrench in it and get pregnant, right? So I was like, it's got to be based on something else. So I literally, you guys, this is so powerful. My cheeks are hot because it's like getting me so fired up. But I literally visualized being in a pool at the Emerald Extravaganza in a swimming suit, feeling confident, loving my body, not knowing what it was going to look like, not knowing if I would have a pregnant body or a non-pregnant body. I surrendered. I accepted that I don't have control over the results of that, right? And guess what happened? I did get pregnant. I had a miscarriage. It was a hidden blessing, okay? It was heart-wrenching at the time. It was a hidden blessing. But the bottom line is, I started showing up for myself. I started to take care of myself because I accepted what was. I stopped trying to get a Mod Podge body of her butt, her legs, her boobs, her blah, 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 and this illusion that I could somehow have this ridiculously perfect body if I did the perfect workouts perfectly every day, right? I just let go of that. And I was like, this is my body. It is what it is. I nursed 4 kids. Things fell, right? Things that used to be perky, they fell. But I'm 40. I'm not 15 physically, only in here in ways. And I just accepted that. And I loved it. That was the catalyst for real change. And guess what happened? I started showing up consistently, imperfect, day after day after day after day. I created the best physical health I have ever had. I am saying that currently, not to brag or be weird, to display a fact. I chose to accept and love my body, and that was the beginning of real change. The change that I was white knuckling, oh, if only I could have that body, oh, I let go of it, and I accepted this is my body. I love it. It's a fact. And now I show up from a place of, I love it, I accept it, and that was the beginning of the huge transformation with my physical health. Are you guys hearing me? So this stuff applies as a conscious creator. This isn't disempowering. This isn't black balloons. The facts are the facts. You're disempowered. You just got to accept what is, and you're powerless to make change. That is not the message. It's actually the opposite. It's the wisdom to know that the facts are unchangeable, or where you are right now is something you can't change because it's the past. The results you have right now are simply a residual outcome of your choices from the past. Your reality right now, I'm going to say that again because this is really important as it relates to being a conscious creator and a manifester, which we all are. It's just a matter of how tuned in we are and if we've saddled up on that power, right? Or if we're just blind to it, okay? Where you are right now, your current results, those things that you wrote down in your you inventory, Those things are simply the results, the residual outcome of your past choices. So they are facts today. They are your reality. Does that mean that they have to stay that way? Of course not. But step one is accepting that that is your reality right now. Step one for change. Because then you can start to create a different result residually. So a year from now, oh, I just got butterflies. You guys, this stuff, I'm an absolute nerd alert. So think about like a year from now, the facts, what do you want the facts to be? Things that you can change. There are things that are unchangeable that just are. You can't change someone else's choices. You can't change someone else's results. Those are written in stone, right? It's out of your realm. And that's empowering. Seems simple, doesn't it? It's empowering when you know that. But your results, the things that you want to create, your purpose, your calling, the things that you got to the end of that you inventory and you're like, oh, this is awesome. My gifts matter. They're unique. They're important. And you accept and own and embrace that part. Where do you want to be in a year? Let's take it to your business. A lot of you are in Plexus. Some of you aren't. That's okay. Where do you want to be in a year? What results, what reality do you want to be experiencing? Do you know what I mean? What do you want to be your what is in a year? Okay? When you're clear about that, as clear as can be, all it is you today showing up, right? You don't have control over the future. It's about a drumbeat of nows. Now, 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 now. Tomorrow is not even real. Yesterday isn't real. All you have is now. Drumbeat of now. Action, action, action. Mindset, action, action. And you will create, in a year, you will be living the residual results of the choices you have made the year up, leading up to that. Are you seeing this? And you are accepting that that is your reality. So can you see how these two things play off of each other? Accepting the facts and having the wisdom to know what's within your control and what's written in stone and accepting that, while also harnessing and saddling up on the power of manifestation to know that you can actually change that reality. Some parts of it. Some parts of it are in stone. Let's just say 50-50. It's in stone. People's choices, their results, you know, God's timing can sometimes be in there, but that's in stone. But then there's this part right here that's your choice. And it's freaking awesome because you're powerful. So it's this beautiful marriage of both. Are you with me? And it's a practice. So right now, I want you to write down, and we're going to close up pretty soon. I want you to write down 3 things about yourself, your physical body, that you just accept. 3 right now. I know. You're like, this is all good, Christy, but please don't make me actually do it. 3 things. They don't have to be bad, sick, or wrong. Maybe they are. Maybe it's something that you battle, that you're banging your head on a brick wall trying to change what is about your physical body. 3 things about you that you just embrace. Let's start with accept, that you just accept, right? You'll just sit with it. You're not going to try to white knuckle it. You're like, it is what it is, and we're just going to hang out. And it's okay. It just is. Okay? I want you to write down 3 things, if you haven't already, about your spouse that just are. Like, have you heard choose your love and love your choice? Okay, so you chose and you're currently choosing to be in this. Okay, so what 3 things are you going to accept and set yourself free from trying to change that are outside your control? 3 things about your spouse, or if you don't have a spouse, maybe a kid, significant other, a business partner, someone you work with, someone that you're in contact with, where you could be holding yourself hostage over things that are outside your control. Okay. Okay, now 3 things about yourself, just about you. What are 3 things? And this, again, this is not disempowering. It's about now. Some of these things that are a fact now can change, some of them, if you choose to create and show up and do the work and qualify for the results that you want. But what about you? Have you been battling, resisting, white knuckling, causing you frustration that you just get to accept? I'll give you an example. I have been really frustrated with my nervous system in the last couple years. I've woken up to the damage that's been done. Like, I thought everyone got adrenaline rushes all the time. Oh, I thought everyone felt like a zing in their heart when, like, I didn't understand, you guys. Seriously, I didn't. And it's been a cause for frustration. Like in a current relationship, why does my body do this? I hate that my nervous system. Okay, it is what it is. Can I undo what's been done up to this point? No, it's disappeared. Remember, the past has disappeared. The future's untouchable. So for me to be in resistance to my nervous system responding the way that it does is kicking against the pricks. It's pounding on a table going, I wish it was a chair, be a chair, be a chair, be a chair, be a chair. Are you with me? So what about you that's your current reality is something you get to accept? Now, I am aggressively and peacefully working on my nervous system. I have to throw that in there because I can be a little intense, and my therapist is always like, Christy, we're not going to do bullet points today. You're just going to be with it. I'm like, oh, I just want to fix it. You know what I mean? So, okay, release the white knuckle. I'm very intentionally working on healing my nervous system. So I'm telling you, it's a fact today that I am working on, and I'm challenged by this. I can resist it or I can embrace it. But that is a good example of something that I can consistently work on and cause a different result in a year and have a different reality in a year. But is it serving me to be in resistance to it right now? That's the deal, you guys. It's about surrender. Surrender doesn't mean I'm powerless. Surrender doesn't mean do your worst. Surrender doesn't mean fine, like do your way. It doesn't mean it's not boundaried up. To me, surrender is simply being curious about your now. It's trusting that this is in your space for a reason. And it's embracing, this is my reality right now. Interesting. Wow. Not judging it, not white knuckling it, not trying to change it, but recognizing the power that you do have. Remember that part? There's some that's written in stone. That's other people's choices, other people's results, things that you can't change. That's about 50%. It's cement. But over here, you recognize that there are things as a conscious creator and a co-creator with God, with the universe, that you can cause change. So surrender is understanding that relationship. And understanding, in my opinion, we don't always have the end of the story. Right now, I'm in mid-story. So are you. You're probably dealing with something that's breaking your heart, and you just wish you could change it. And maybe you're white knuckling. Maybe you're trying to make the table into a chair, right? But I'm telling you, it's the middle of the story. Surrender means trusting that it's not the end. Surrender means trusting that the stuff you can't change will eventually be for your good. It is not easy. I am not telling you these things because I am something I am actually wrestling with right now. But you better know I'm going to do everything I can with the part that's in my control to create and cause peace, to create and cause purpose, to create in myself and ripple joy, and recognizing it's both, and simply sorting things where they go. So is there something with that thought that you have put into this part that you think you can change that actually is written in stone? Is there? And only you know the answer to that, you and your creator. But I honestly, you guys, I know that this journey and all of us and all the things that we're facing, and I know every single one of us has pain in different flavors and challenges in different flavors. I know that it all will work out. And I know that God and the universe has created us to have joy. But joy doesn't always mean dance parties in the kitchen. Sometimes joy is crying your ever-living head off and realizing a truth that you didn't know before. Sometimes that's joy. But embracing all of it as just fabrics and textures of part of our human experience and just letting it all be beautiful. It all is part of the human experience and it all is beautiful. I'm going to read your comments really quick. Oh, I love you guys. Now I'm like kind of shaky inside because this is vulnerable. Whoa, sometimes I get off these calls and I'm like, do you know what a vulnerability hangover is? When you're like, I put my heart out there and filleted wide open. I love you guys. Okay, the Olympic prayer, let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt. I love that because we're all showing up as our best and learning to be brave. Absolutely. You guys, seriously, it's messy. It's so messy, but I am a believer over and over that no matter what we face as we're humans, there's always something that we can focus on and create that causes a ripple effect and that brings peace and joy always. Okay, so as we leave, I want you to ask yourself as you move forward today, even just practice. This is the practice. Next steps. What are the facts? If you find yourself locked up, if you find yourself overwhelmed, if you find yourself resisting or frustrated, make a list and just write facts. What are the facts about the situation? It is what it is. What is it? List it. Okay? How close am I? Ask yourself, how close am I to acceptance? Just recognizing, oh my gosh, I am like way resisting this. What if I could just 1 degree accept it just a little bit more? How would that feel? Just to relieve myself, give myself that little bit of freedom. Okay? And then just baby step toward acceptance. Baby step, this is what it is. Speaking these things out loud, you guys, is powerful. Writing it and then hearing yourself say facts is powerful because you're always listening, right? And this is between you and you. Okay, our last thought. Acceptance practice is kindness, compassion, and gentle care for precious you. Little Dolly, you, grown you, that tormented you, whoever that is, the one that's hanging on and just wants so bad to change things that she can't or he can't. I see you, I hear you, I get it, and it happened. Not to dismiss it, but to simply say it is what it is. It is exactly what it is or exactly what it was. Accepting this doesn't mean you're bad, sick, or wrong, or invalidated in your pain or whatever surrounds that. It simply means you're free. You're released. It's not your job to attempt to change it. You're safe. You're held. You're loved. You're here now. And this is the only real moment. All right, my friends, are you guys in to practice this with so much compassion for your beautiful self? Let's practice together, shall we? Okay, before you end your little session of sitting down, I want you to look at your notes and put a star by like one thing that was like your message for today, and then put a do and circle it by one action that you're going to take today. Okay? Hey, thank you so much for being here and bringing your energy and sharing the space with me and us. I honor what we have here, and I'm so grateful to be part of it. So thank you, thank you, thank you for showing up. You're loved, you're seen, you're held, and I'm so, so grateful to be in your world. Let's create a beautiful day, my friends. Love you. Bye.